But so that I think is a kind of a helper for homeowners to make sure that they actually do have adequate coverage, because you've got this loan department double checking the coverages, and they're not super thorough, but they at least do a somewhat high level precursory review of it to make sure that people have fire insurance.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Today's guest, David Melzer, is the owner and president of Property Claims Consultant, a public adjusting firm that represents property owners when insurance claims turn adversarial. He specializes in high-stakes fire, water, and catastrophe losses, going head-to-head with insurance carriers to make sure clients are paid what they're actually owed. David brings a straight-talk perspective on risk, claim strategy, and how to avoid getting steamrolled by the insurance process when it matters most. David, thanks for taking the time today.
Absolutely, Dylan. Thanks. I'm excited to be here.
It's great to have you on here. I've had a few public adjusters on the show and from different areas of the country. And we were talking a little bit before hopping on here about how it's different in certain areas. And you're in California, but you've got experience in multiple areas. How did you get into the public adjusting space?
So I used to work for the insurance company as an insurance adjuster.
That'll do it. That'll do it.
So I worked for two of the large insurance companies for about 10 years, and kind of had like an epiphany back in 2016, 2017. Like, no one's going to, like, I'm not happy with this life that I'm set up with. What do I do to kind of to get out of the rat race? I guess if you take the Kawasaki's, what's his name? Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Robert Kiyosaki. Yeah.
Kind of statement there. So I ended up getting into real estate for a little while. And then I had a huge loss at one of my properties. And then that turned me into this. And I was like, oh, if I can represent myself and be successful in that world, why can't I do this and allow everybody to have access to that kind of expertise and success when it comes to these real estate or these property insurance claims? And so here we are. I sold that property back in 2020 and opened my company back in 2020. And here we are.
You know, the idea of having someone to go to bat for you with insurance, I think a lot of people can understand the idea of this, right? Especially whatever kind of insurance you're dealing with. You tend to feel like, are they trying to not pay? Is that the goal here? Like, I'm paying these people monthly. Are they trying to not pay? But when it comes to your home, of course, now everything is on the line. And what I've seen, and having spoken with other public adjusters, is people oftentimes try to work things out with their insurance company, and it's not until it's clear that they're not going to, pay what they feel like is necessary to restore the property or what have you, that then they start reaching out to folks like yourself.
Yeah, and that's kind of the unfortunate mishap is we often get contacted when things go south, real south, and then we've got to kind of work the thing from the beginning again for these clients. And so I often say that, the earlier we get involved, the more successful we're going to be on the claim. Absolutely. Because it allows us to be able to help create that narrative of the claim from the beginning forward, and not say, oh, we're going to come in 3 months, 6 months, a year into the game, whatever it is, and have to sort of like recreate the narrative, recreate all of the damages, look at it from like a forensic perspective, and kind of display that to the insurance company. When we're involved from the very beginning, it absolutely helps and maintains the success of that from that moving forward. And I mean, my response to clients is, hey, even if you're using one of my competitors, get someone involved earlier than later, because it's going to behoove you a lot better in the long run.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
I've heard from multiple people now that if you're going to an insurance provider for homeowners insurance, property insurance of any kind, right? And you have specific needs that you want to be protected, like in fire, and in the case of California, where you're licensed at, it's important that you know for sure that you're going to be covered in the case of it. Because I've heard from multiple people that there's cases where people thought they were covered. Maybe it was spoken verbally, but then when it came to what their policy actually covers, that certain things were omitted or specifically excluded.
Yeah. Yeah, I ran into that exact same instance with another investor, a real estate professional that I know, where they had a vacant property. They thought they had the policy written for vacancy. They had a multi six figure vandalism and theft of this property. It's 100,000 square foot warehouse that they were working on rehabbing up and then renting out. And their insurance declined it. And they reached out to me, and I was like, hey, this is what we need to do to display it. And in fact, it really should have been covered, but it was just written incorrectly.
When people are dealing with larger properties like that, these things still come up. I've heard it happening in hotels, right? And so
Right.
I don't know if there's a solution to this, but is there a way where folks can somehow feel more safe with the policy that they currently have, or with a policy that they may be taking out?
Yeah, I mean, I think like a lot of public adjusters out there will do policy reviews, and I do it often for some of our existing clients where they reach out and say, hey, I got dropped by that insurance company, or I was pissed off the way that they handled my claim. Can you review my policy? And I think having someone who actually knows what the outcome of that claim is review your policy is going to be much more advantageous than the agent. And I don't want to discredit property and casualty agents, but they're not really involved in the claim of the actual, like, how much is the insurance company going to pay out on this claim if this were to happen. They really are writing the policies, and they don't always know the specific nuances of every single exclusion or condition or limitation on that policy.
Break this down for me and our audience, maybe a little 101, because you've been on both sides. You've been in house, and then you've been on the public adjuster side. So the person that is writing the policy is completely detached from the people that are processing the claim.
Correct. Yeah. So traditionally, you have sort of like three major sections of the insurance company. You've got the sales agency, the sales side. Traditionally, it's from 1099 subcontracted agency partners. So I don't want to specifically name one, but let's use a large carrier. They use what they call, what is it, like contracted agents, specific agents. So all of their agents can only write that insurance company. They just call it ABC Insurance Company. So they have 1099 kind of like small mon pa, small family shops that sell this policy. When they sell that policy, they underwrite it through like an underwriting and pricing division within the insurance company. They're the ones that help determine the price and what, if they want to write a policy in that area, etc. When it actually, so we've got the sales side, we've got the kind of underwriting department, and then we've got the claims department, none of which are intertwined at any capacity. The only way is that if they uploaded documents or something to the system that triggers something, it might kind of intermingle or interconnect. But other than that, there's like zero connection. What I also
Wow.
like to point out is the way that insurance agents are traditionally incentivized is that obviously they get a portion of the premium that they write. So if they sell 50 policies at $1,000 a piece, they might get a 50 to $100, $200, $300 on each one of those premiums. But the other component is that they've got what they call a loss ratio. So if these agents are writing policies that traditionally have frequent claims and high severity of claims, then it can impact the level of premium commissions that they make. So it, to an extent, and again, I'm not really trying to discredit the agency, it's just the way that the system is set up. Everyone from the insurance side of things is kind of rooting against you for the success in that claim.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Yeah. Well, let me ask this, and then maybe this is a really basic question. When something happens, fire damage, let's say, and maybe the home is still, you can still live in the home, but there's been some type of fire damage, and so you're like, okay, well, we don't have to move right now, but we this is not good. We need this room repaired or roof or whatever, right? You go to your first point of contact, which is typically the person you reached out to. From there, is it different at each company? Is that person sometimes going to advocate for you? Are they going to send it off to a different department, or is that person really just like a waypoint to, hey, you got to go to claims?
So traditionally, when you file a claim for most large insurance carriers, there's a bunch of smaller companies out there that operate a bit differently, but from the large carriers, the ones that we see at Super Bowl commercials and on, pay-per-view items and things like that. When you file an insurance claim from them, you're calling their 1-800 center. Their call center, someone who's just a call center operative answers the phone. They have a series of questions they ask you. They get it filed and they start to triage it into whatever department it might go into, whatever department in the claims department. Some people often say, oh, I got to call my agent to file the claim. Most times, more often than not, the agent just does the same thing for them. So at the end of the day, the way that the claim traditionally gets filed, sometimes you can do them online now through apps and things like that, but it really just goes through a call center or some sort of triage center. And then if it's, I'm here in San Diego. So let's just say, for instance, it's a fire to a single family house in San Diego and it's ABC Insurance Company. You would call in, that call center might be in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They take that and then it usually gets routed over the course of a few hours, maybe a day or so, to the local team, and then traditionally routed down to an actual adjuster. If they have field staff at that time, then it would go to like a field staff adjuster, and then usually that staff adjuster is not incentivized, but usually one of their metrics is how quickly do they call and make contact on that claim with that homeowner. So their goal is the last two companies I was with, it was within 24 hours. That was kind of a pretty common theme of how quickly they wanted you to contact. So then they would make contact, and that might be the first claims adjuster. They might get out there and they say, oh, yikes, we thought this was $100,000. It might be $100,000. So it might go to another higher level adjuster. So it can sometimes, for these fires, we've seen it sometimes take upwards of a month to finally get to the capable, trained, and competent final adjuster that's going to be handling it.
Now, I mean, we're talking about several different segments of real estate here, right? But for everyday homeowners, this is your forever home, or you've been here for a very long time, right? Something happens to your home. Uh, I'm imagining people's first thought is not public adjuster unless they know about the space. Um, is the process different with every company as far as how public adjusters are paid? Is it from the insurance company? Is it from the owner themselves? Is it upfront? Is it at the end? Is it different based on who you're talking with?
For the most part, and I'd say, more than 60 or 70% of the states in the US, public adjusters work on a contingency basis against the claim. So let's just say, for instance, that fire at a single family home, traditionally people are probably going to work that claim for anywhere between 8 and 15, maybe 20%, depending on what time they come in at the claim. And so they would sign on, let's say, for instance, the homeowners sign, realize, hey, this is substantial damages. I don't want to go at this on my own. I'm going to hire a public adjuster. Fire happened last night. They call a public adjuster. They come out the next day. Homeowner, signs a contract to work with them. And so from there forward, that public adjuster gets paid on a contingency basis of how the claim goes. It's really like a very linear, I guess, approach. If it's a straight percentage, it's going to be linear. There's a few other states where you can work on hourly basis, but there's a bunch more nuances about it. And
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
for the most part, they work on a straight line, flat contingency basis.
Now, there are, I'm imagining, specialties within the public adjuster space. So, of course, when we talk about California, the first thing that comes to my mind, a lot of people's minds, is fire damage. Single family homes, throughout California. Uh,
Yeah.
what right now? What right now are you seeing as a trend in California? Is that something that people are very keen on? Is, hey, we have to make sure that we've got this fire damage coverage, or if not, we've got to reach out to someone like yourself, or are folks still kind of in the dark about how to navigate that process?
Well, are you talking about just like fire coverage, a policy on a home, or are you talking about if they had a fire to make sure that they get adequately
Well,
compensated by the insurance?
yeah, in both cases. I mean, the first thing for me that comes to mind is, like, this isn't, if someone's home is experiencing this now, like, they should at least have some awareness that they have to have the right policy in place, because, like, everyone's been, made aware that you have to have a specific policy. So are people generally more keen and aware of that? And then follow up to that is are you seeing more people reach out to yourself and to other public adjusters because of awareness in general of, hey, this is a tricky space to be in?
Yeah. So to back up a little bit about getting the coverage itself, if you have a loan on a home, at least in the state of California, you have to have fire insurance. So, and whenever, especially with people that are paying like through compound accounts, they always track whether there's a active policy that is applied to that loan. So you always have to have that fire coverage for the home. And obviously paperwork gets lost and things happen. But so that, I think, is a kind of a helper for homeowners to make sure that they actually do have adequate coverage, because you've got this loan department double checking the coverages, and they're not super thorough, but they at least do a somewhat high level precursory review of it to make sure that people have fire insurance. But what we're seeing out here in the state is that, especially ever since these fires happened in January, almost a year ago tomorrow, in the Pacific Palisades and Altadena area, a lot of these insurance companies are continuing to leave the state and not writing policies in the state. So it often puts people onto the California Fair Plan policy, which has very limited fire coverage.
Hmm.
So people are being, and the pricing on that fair plan coverage can be double, triple, quadruple, quintuple what a normal policy would have been 2 years ago. So people are getting backed into that corner where there's actually a restoration company that I work with where even him in the industry, he knew about it and he got canceled from one of his large insurance companies. He was paying $2,500 a year and had to go to the California Fair Plan, and now he pays $7,500 a year.
Oh my gosh.
And that was actually just for fire coverage. So he has to get fire coverage through the California Fair Plan, and then he had to use one of the other larger insurance companies for like water damage coverage, vandalism, and everything else. They have these wrap policies out here, um, so it gets a bit convoluted there. The I think the answer to the other question was about
Just
um,
awareness, yeah, for public adjustment.
awareness of it, and I think absolutely there's a lot of awareness, and with the awareness comes a mixture of everything to where people hear the goods, they hear the bads, and often sometimes the bads outweigh some of the goods. So it's I think a lot more people know about the value and benefit of public adjusters, but people are wary. They're thinking, oh well, I can take a stab at this insurance claim on my own. I'm not going to pay someone 10%. What I point out, and I think a lot of the other good wholesome public adjusters out there is that it's we're taking if we have our 10% commission on the claim, we're not just getting you at 12% more on the claim. Like we're often doubling, tripling, quadrupling that claim value because of how thorough we are and how we do know to kind of play the game. When we did some statistics on our claims from 2023, because I haven't been able to do, or 2024, because I haven't done 2025 yet, we averaged like 580% increase on our claims. So whatever the insurance company paid versus where we landed was like
Every
a 580%. And I had to pull some of the outliers. Like there was one that was like a 15,000% increase. And I kind of pulled that one out because I think it skewed the numbers, obviously in a positive direction. But so that one was just the number that I got of close to about 600% increase was just over your everyday regular claims. And then like I said, I pulled out some of these outliers because they were so crazy that, if we're going to, let's say for instance, we have a 10% commission on a claim and we're going to increase your claim by 600%, like I would take those odds any day.
Yeah, who wouldn't?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it from a straight kind of cost benefit and you remove any kind of emotional attachment to it's my home, it's my primary residence, I raised a family in this house, this, that, and the other. But if you look at it from just like really a financial perspective, there's no loss there. I mean, we're really incentivized equally with these homeowners, but some people want to go at it on their own, and it's sad because then they often call us and it's 6 months, a year into the game, and they're like, hey, I hate to say it, but you were right. And then it might be, hey, it's too late for us, and we might have to push them more towards more legal options.
I do want to touch on that because I think for myself and folks who are listening again is when we typically think of like damage, we think of you might reach out to an injury attorney if you're involved in some type of wreck or car accident, something like this. Public adjusting is separate from that because you're not attorneys, right? So when people are thinking of who to reach out to and when, is there a time where you would say, "Hey, this is actually beyond the scope of what we do," and you would have to go talk with an attorney?
Yeah, there's a specific insurance company in California that denies a vast majority of their water damage claims. And that is an instance where this specific insurance company, where we usually direct people towards a legal action because they just don't even care about the homeowners anymore. But so yeah, sometimes it's that where their claim is so far denied, or all the work has been completed and it's still denied, or but more often than not, there's a value for a public adjuster to take a stab at it because we really have no upfront costs. We have no, it almost seems too good to be true sometimes because I'm telling these people this. I'm like, we have no upfront costs. We literally have a commission against the claim itself. Let's just say, for instance, it's a denied claim where we might work it for 6 months. And if we don't get it overturned, like you're at zero loss. If anything, we have this file to give you to hand over to whatever attorney you want to fight with, anyways. And sometimes their thing is, well, I want to get the ball rolling with the attorneys. And I'm like, well, these insurance companies are really good at defending lawsuits. So if you have to actually go a legal route where they actually have to file suit, I mean, it's not going to get wrapped up in 1 year. It's going to be 2, 3, 4 years. I've seen them. I've had clients that I've been working with for 5 years and have been in legal battles since very early on, and they're still going.
I mean, drag it out. That's another approach that the insurance companies can take. And as I'm talking to you, I'm realizing, of course, there's a lot of myths that people may have, or preconceived notions. Hey, I can do it myself. Hey, why pay somebody else? But when you're seeing a 500% increase, of course, it not only pays for itself, but it saves you all the time and effort and hassle of trying to figure it out on your own when it's not your expertise. You're doing whatever you're doing, and something happens to your
Yeah.
property. We are coming up on time here, though, David. Where can folks go? Where can our audience go to reach out to you and your team, or learn more about what you have going on over there at Property Claims
Yeah,
Consultant?
I mean, our website, or even social media, Property Claims Consultant. Big thing is that it's claims plural, consultant singular. So we've got an Instagram, Facebook, Yelp, Google pages, everything like that, and our website too is usually the best way to kind of reach out to us directly.
David, thank you so much for your time today. Thanks for coming on.
Absolutely, I appreciate it. Thanks, Dan.
Thanks for joining us for today's show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing on your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. You can also check out the show's notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and even how to work with me directly one-on-one. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. See you on the next show.